course, we'll get you back to Nick. Let's get some more now perspective on all of this. Joining me is Tahir Abbas, Senior Research Fellow at the Royal United Services Institute. He specialises in radicalisation and violent extremism. So we know very little about Khalid Masood at the moment. Suffice to say, we know he is British born, 52 years old, and at some point he converted to what I'm sure he would have described as Islam. Others would say jihadism. What do we know about him, to your mind?
Well, we know a few facts about his early life, where he grew up, where he went to school, but there are still a whole host of gaps in relation to how he might have been radicalised, where exactly, what were the trigger points, and who were his associates.
You've talked, or we've heard, a lot of talk over the past 48 hours, not least from the Prime of Britain and Britishness. You say the idea of British values is complete nonsense, and you say terrorists have no interest in values or ideals of Britishness or anything else like that, you say. Why? Explain.
Well, because when we think about the motivations for terrorists, British values is the last thing on their minds. When we project British values, we talk about some notions of national identity, some ideas of collective norms, but these are completely unrelated to what motivates people in relation to terrorism.
What does?
What motivates people to terrorism? Well, there are local issues often, individual psychological issues, experiences, forms of trauma, victimization, humiliation. And when people can't find legitimate avenues to express their grievances, they turn to violence, aggression, and various forms of these have been demonstrated many times.
Does Khalid Masood bear the hallmarks of everything that you've just described?
I would say so, in the sense that there is every indication to suggest that he's typically what we find in terms of angry, young, not so young in this case, but most of the time young, angry, young, and ruthless.
So how could it have been prevented?
Well, we need lots of different ways in here. We need to think about the collective issues in terms of what it means for society as a whole. We also need to have targeted interventions that pick out vulnerable individuals and introduce policies that help in terms of taking people back onto the right path.
The British government has one of those. It's called Prevent. It's
Yes.
an anti-radicalisation programme, and
Yes.
you say it doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't always have its best intentions played out in reality, which means that while there is a great deal of importance needed in trying to ensure that people who are vulnerable are returned back onto paths which are taking them away from violence, Prevent has also the negative association of surveillance, and so many community groups feel that it's not helpful necessarily, and so therefore there is more work to do.
There certainly is, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Right, that's the view out of London.